Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the M6. It's a tier 6 American heavy tank. It's located on the southwest spawn of Outpost, and it's under the command of marke12. And it's been a while since we featured one of his replays. He's got 2 marks on the barrel, and it's a 90mm gun. He's capable of doing 240 alpha, penetrating 160 with standard ammo, and with the APCR 243. This is basically an upgraded version of the T1 heavy tank. The M6 is basically the same tank, but slight difference in the armament and of course the armor on the turret. Now basically this tank is very, very weak on side armor, but it's fairly good on the frontal armor. Anything above tier 6 and it's in trouble. It's facing some serious opponents, and yes, he's landed in tier 7 game. So he's going to be kind of cautious, because the enemy team do have some serious armor. They've got a Challenger T20 and CS44, and the Super Chappie's gone up into the castle. Hello, Mr. Super Chappie. Nice hit. High roll for the first shot. Go for it again. Gets the second hit. This one another high roll for 279. The Chappie's pulled back. If he comes out again, he will go bang. Just waiting for him to do it. Hello. Yeah. Yes, that was a bit obvious, that. Now, they started work on this tank in May of 1940, just before America entered the war, and by May of 1942, they standardized the design. They actually produced 8 serial tanks and 1 experimental tank in total, but they never saw service. It never got put into production. It was a cast hull with a hydromechanical suspension system. As I say, it's a T1 heavy tank derivative. In the game, we've got 3 76mm guns, and of course then the top gun is the 90mm. It's got reasonably good engine power. It's a very big tank. Good engine power, which means it accelerates very quickly. As you can just see here, he accelerated very quickly to top speed, which is only 35 kilometers an hour, but it is a heavy tank. It's 61 tons in weight. So think of it as a very fast moving Tiger that just picks up speed and goes almost immediately. Now, during the Second World War, the Americans were crying out for a heavy tank to fight at the front, because all they had were the mediums, the M4s, and the M4s really weren't up to fighting a Tiger tank. In fact, it took 4 M4s to bring down a Tiger, as you saw in Fury. That's really true. They actually did have to waste an awful lot of medium tanks in order to bring down one heavy tank on the German side. So they really wanted a heavy tank. The only problem with this one, though, is it's so big. It makes a very easy target for the enemy. And although it did have a lot of armor at the front of the vehicle, most of the armor at the sides, well, it's very weak indeed, and you'll see that. Okay, he took out that T-150 fairly easily. If you ever come up in a brawl with one of these things, try and get alongside it and pump rounds into its side, because it's so weak, the shells will just go straight through it. Okay, that's the tier 7 serious opponent, the CS44. Got another M6 just around the corner, who's baiting him at the moment. Okay, and oh, we lost our M6, but the CS44 is committed, and he takes 1 round through the front. We get a high roll for 249. I'm going to push him. He's going to have to come around the corner. He bounces around off our turret, which is very strong. Turret's about the best place on armor on the M6. Fires 1 into the engine bay. This guy's now 1 shot. If we can get the shot in the right place into the high roll, yes, he's gone. And Arty, well, only 25 hit points from a tier 7 Arty. That's okay. It's not too bad, and he's repairing his tracks. Now the standard reload time for this tank is 6.71 seconds. You can see that Marky's got it down to 5.52, which is good. It's turned around nicely. The worst thing that this tank can actually meet is HE, I'm afraid, because HE and Arty, for that matter, can penetrate the sides of the vehicle. It also has a fairly poor reverse speed. It's only 14 kilometers an hour. And when you start out with this gun in the game, with this tank in the game, you actually end up, or have to start with the 76mm guns, or a 3-inch and then 76mm guns, and they're not that powerful. It really makes it a slog to get to the 90mm gun, and that's when you start having fun with it. It does have accuracy problems when it's on the move, but it does get better as you play. Oh, T20 over to his left. Can he get shots on this T150? Only on top of the turret, and yeah, there's an obvious cupola on the top of that turret, but the T20 is what he should be aiming for. Yep, nice shot. 229, low roll. Now, take him out. And he's out the game. That's his 4th kill. Now, the T150 has decided to go into the castle grounds, and that's not really going to help him, but if we turn to go after him, we're going to get shot in the side by the budgie, the IKV, and, well, the VK's actually decided to pull away now. But it's a good job that we've actually stayed here so we can get shots on these guys if they pop up onto the ridgeline. Oh, enemy RT spear spotted just around the corner. Now, does he go around the corner and try and get shots on them? It's worth it. He wants that top gun. Oh, we bounced around a 75mm, I think, the strip, if I remember correctly. But there's the enemy RT. Goes for the GW first. Takes him out with one shot. And the Lorraine is a one shot as well. He's taken damage. He doesn't want to go beyond that house, but if he does get a kill, he will be getting a Pascucci's. Now, is it worth risking? Not with the VK to his left. That VK is a bit of a problem. Okay, take the VK out first. Hello. Goodbye. And that's his top gun. Now, the Lorraine's gone, so he can't get the Pascucci's anymore. There's that Striv. Get shot. Go for it again. Yes, this time round he gets it in, but he gets a low roll 220. The T150, who was behind him in the castle grounds, has been killed. I think he can now push on this corner and run down, even with the Type 64 on the enemy team to his left. He's still holding back. I think he's worried about that Type. The T150 actually wasn't killed. He's actually nearing our cap area and about to take out our Arty. Oh, and another shot into the turret, this time a high roll. And we took her around from the Challenger. Ouch. Yes, that's the other tier 7 threat. And the enemy T150 was finally taken out by our VK3002D, who actually went back to rescue the Arty. And I'm sure they'll be happy that they're still alive. So we're only worried about the Type 64, who could be to our left. Difficult crossing this lake. Okay, the other guys are diving in. There's the Type, he's actually behind us. We take a round in the rear. One big shot, low roll, 205. Can he get the kill shot? Yes, he does. Nice. So that's now 7 kills. One more and he's got a Radley Walters. And I'm sure one of these will more than likely die if he gets a 90mm round into it, any of them. It's going to kill the Striv at least, or the Challenger. Come on, make it the Striv. Make it the Striv. Oh, Striv goes. Challenger. Gets it. That's the Radleys. One tank left. It's the Budgie. Hello, Mr. Budgie. One round goes in. Notice how he's doing this with standard ammo, actually. Not using premium torque. Yep, getting hit. A high roll 243, and the Budgie's gone, so that's the end of the game, and it's victory. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tank again for marke12 in the M6. He got a Viper effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a Hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from at least 4 different enemy vehicles in the game, as well as a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a Bradley Walters for getting at least 8 kills, a High Caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, there you go. Highest damage in this one was 4,301 hit points. The next highest scorer to Marke was, in fact, the Challenger, the one he killed to get his Radleys. He got 2,371 hit points. And the third highest was that CS44, who got 1,903. When it came to kills, yep, Marke's got that one with 8 kills. 2 kills went to the GW Panther on his own team, the Challenger on the enemy team, and the Striv 74. And when it came to base XP, Marke's got that one too with 1,681, and that's a very good ace tanker. So he's got the top in all 3 columns, and the next highest player to him is under 1,000. Yes, it's the VK3002D with 705. So he got more than twice the base XP of the next highest tank. Very well played indeed. Let's have a look at detail. 24 shots fired, 21 direct hits on the enemy, 21 penetrations, 4,301 hit points of damage, of which 775 are at more than 300 meters, so mostly close range. 9 hits received, 5 of them penetrated, 4 non-penetrations, and 1 hit by way of splash from the enemy Arty. That was the Lorraine. 715 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 10 enemy vehicles damaged, 8 killed, and 9 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, Marke earned 44,750 credits, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, and because he used standard ammo, he actually ended up with a profit of 16,546 credits. 1,681 XP, 15,132 from personal missions payout, and 17,654 experience points altogether. That's certainly going to make his crew skills jump quite a bit. That's a nice earnings. So, a very interesting tank, the M6. They never sent them into combat. They never sent them to Europe. I think they were just too complicated. In the end, in fact, they decided by 1942 that the Armored Corps weren't interested because it was just too big. It lacked reliability, and it was also partially a logistical problem as well. These big beasts needed a lot of mechanical fixing. And of course, being such a big beast also meant that the Armored Corps had to fix them in the field. And it's not an easy thing to fix because, of course, with that hydromechanical suspension system, it's prone to breaking down. And in the end, the US Army decided, or the Armored Corps decided, that they wanted a different tank to the M6. They made do with the M4s that they have for the moment, but it was the Pershings that came in afterwards. And then, of course, they had the whole range of heavy tanks, the T-29, T-30, T-32, T-34, which were the next step up. And those were supposed to be the IS-3 killers. So, yes, if they had brought the M6 in and faced it against the Tiger, it would have been very interesting because it's questionable which one would have benefited. I'm pretty sure the Tiger would have come off okay in most battles. But you never know. With a 19mm gun, the M6 might have actually been able to put up quite a good fight, as you saw in this game. Let's have a look at the armor. We can see straight away that it's the frontal armor because, of course, it's just like the T1 Heavy. All the armor is at the front of the vehicle. You've got 101.6mm impacted armor, the same effective on the front. Here it's rather flattish, so you're not getting any advantage from angling the armor at all. 82.5mm, only getting 87 there. On this corner, 82.5 getting 98. Same there. The mantlets, the strongest armor there, 190.5mm coming out at 192. And it is slightly stronger than the T1 Heavy on the turret. I think they slapped on slightly more armor. But the problem is that it's basically still a T1 Heavy. And if you hit the sides of the vehicle, you will get penetrations. It's only 82.5 there, getting 87 or thereabouts. But look at the hull. Even though it's a cast hull, it's 52.4mm on side, coming out 74. So it's fairly thin. Arty should be able to penetrate the roof with 25.4 millimeters armor, and at the back here the same 25.4. So if you want to hit this thing with an Arty round, you're probably going to do a lot of damage. It doesn't like HE, this tank. Let's have a look at the live model. There you go. Even with a 90mm round, just goes straight through the front. If you angle, you will effectively make it slightly strong, but only if they aim for the conventional areas. But what they'll do is they'll just change the aim to the side of the vehicle. So, yes, side scraping. Well, I suppose you can side scrape if you angle it like this, and you can see that the armor become a lot thicker now. From 52.4, it's gone up to 181. But the enemy will probably just go for the turret instead, which is slightly weaker there. Let's have a look at modules. Okay, well, like the T1 Heavy, we've got the driver up front on the right-hand side, driver's mate, or radio operator. On the left-hand side, the gunners, there's two of them, either side of the actual main gun. The tank commander's in the cupola just behind them, and the loader's to the side of him, with an ammo rack in the side of the vehicle. You remember that's the same on the T1 Heavy, with an ammo rack underneath the turret in the actual main body, where it's fairly weak. There's another big ammo store on the left-hand side of the vehicle. I think that's the same in the T1 Heavy as well. And we've got the engine sandwiched between two fuel tanks, just like on the T1 Heavy with the transmission at the rear. Yes, so it is fairly vulnerable because you've got big modules that are fairly easy to hit if you can penetrate the side of the armor. So long as it's not well angled, you should be able to go straight through the side and hit something that might go bang or might catch fire. So that's the M6. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give the video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.